Um, so thanks again, Chef Totlani, for joining us today again. You guys, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you grow up with food as a young person?
Um, I mean, I was always fond of eating. I'm a short, fat guy. You can clearly see that on me. Food always intrigued me when I was growing up, and I wanted to try new things. I was fortunate enough that my parents they love food themselves and had also the capabilities of taking me out, making me try new things. And I grew up in Bombay, which is like a melting pot of definitely for India, but also a lot of global flavors. More now than then, but like Chinese restaurants, not what they would be in China, but like different cuisines were represented in Bombay more than the rest of the country, at least I would say. And from restaurants to street food to everything, I was fortunate enough that my parents took me more everywhere. Um and I could try different things, and that made me more inquisitive about food. And ever since I was young, I said, I will get into the food industry, and being a chef was was the easy way to do it, I guess. To get into the industry and work in restaurants, cook myself, and then gradually from once the interest grew, I started on like whenever time off from school and this and that. I On TV, I was not just watching cartoons and movies, but I was also flipping through lifestyle channels to see cooking shows, travel shows about food, and that got me even more inquisitive and kind of grew the hunger for to try different things and to deep dive into the world of food, and kind of stuck by. Even when I was growing up, even though I didn't cook a lot, and I was in boarding school where I couldn't cook a lot, but it kind of stuck by. And when it was time, when I was like in 12th grade, giving my 12th exams, my dad was like, you've always said this, you cook here and there. You've never really spoken about another career. So is this actually what you want to do? And I was like, yeah. And then we met a few chefs around who we knew, and technically we didn't know anybody because my family is from like a finance background. But through friends, this, that, we knew whoever we could talk to, whoever we knew. Spoke to a couple of people. Growing up, I had like a baker. He was my dad's friend and client. He invests with my dad, and a very good friend. He used to make cakes out of home. He went and like uh, did some course in Switzerland for cakes and chocolates, and kind of built his own business. First out of his house, and then he moved out. But at that time, he was cooking out of his house. So every time my dad would go for meetings with him, I would kind of go with him and hang out in the room that he had converted into like the chocolate room. And he kind of put it in my head that CIA was the best school out there, and that's where you need to go. And that also stuck by since I was a kid. So I kind of when I spoke to people at that 12th grade place, after that I secured an internship for 2 months just to see if the kitchen is really for me. And because saying this and cooking at home is different, and cooking in a professional kitchen, 12 hours a day, everything is very different. So through people, I got that internship, and I wanted to go to the CIA, but the people who advised me said you would rather get a not go do the bachelor's degree. To do a bachelor's degree, get experience, work, uh, and then kind of do the associate's degree. That will be one cheaper also, because like the dollar is quite high, and coming from India, CIA is not a cheap school. So one, it would be cheaper also, and then more importantly, at that time they weren't offering too many classes in too many options for bachelors. It was more like your practical study and your practical kitchen time was just in your associates. So once this person kind of recommended this, I did a bachelor's degree in India. I interned a little bit here and there. got a bachelor's degree in India for culinary arts. At that time, it was the only school that were offering not hotel management and not like everything, but just culinary. It was called Culinary Academy of India in Hyderabad. And then post that, I went to the CIA. Yeah.
Nice. It's interesting because obviously from Indian, I guess, and just an Asian background in general, it's not very common your parents are so open-minded to sort of help you along in
I
being
mean, my
in
parents were very supportive, very open-minded. They are honestly, they're still my biggest fans. And when I give interviews, when I do anything from whenever all the success, I think they celebrated more than anybody. And but they've been quite supportive since I was a kid of the fact of me becoming a chef. Like even the CIA, like I could go because and I don't have like loans like most of the students there on my head, just because they kind of supported me not just mentally and emotionally but also financially. And as a international student studying in America, it's not cheap. Tuition is not cheap. Stay, um, everything, like life, like your lifestyle, everything. So they kind of supported me through that as well.
nice. So I guess going a little bit on your professional career a little bit, you took over the restaurant from your friend and mentor Pratik Sadhu in 2022, I believe, right?
Yes.
How was the transition like, and were there specific things that you and your team had to work on or improve or change?
Uh, I mean, like I think when the transition was in two factors, one was internally and what was outside the restaurant, right? Like I think internally it was the smoothest it could ever have been, um, because a lot of the team stayed back and it was just one person that kind of moved on. Internally, everyone believed in me, kind of supported me to the maximum, and that I think that's the reason that transition was successful, if I may say so myself, is because everyone supported me, believed in me, and believed in the vision that Mask had, and more importantly, in the vision that Mask and I were going to create together. Until today, I think I have the best team that kind of believes in everything I want to do, and every menu I want to put out there, every event I want to do, however crazy it may sound sometimes. So internally, it was amazing, and um, we've kind of built that culture where everyone feels like they belong, and it's not about just one person, and it never has been. It's Aditi and I might be the face of the restaurant, and who do everything in terms of being out there, but it is because of everyone that we are here today, and it is because of everyone even that you want to kind of interview me, because of the effort everyone puts in. So like I said, internally the transition was super smooth, everything except obviously the food, because it was my interpretation of modern Indian food, and you know um, things that are nostalgic to me and my kind of style, that obviously changed. But everything except that kind of remained the same, and that's why we had an amazing time and it was quite smooth. Externally, there was a lot of pressure, and it was big shoes to fill. Uh, some people believed in us, some people did not. Some people spoke. Uh, we found out through people some that they didn't believe in what we were doing. Some people were quite honest and upfront that they didn't think, they thought mask was over, and everyone had opinions, and different opinions from the best to the worst. And because I had this kind of support from the team, and because we had a lot to prove, we kind of put our head down and did what we had to do to get through. And I think, like I said before, I think we've had quite a successful transition.
Now, the team is very important to have
Yeah, the
the
team, the support,
ability.
even the faith and belief that people put in me. Aditya, by giving me the by giving like gi- making giving me the position and the freedom to do what I have to do. to everyone in the team kind of believing that we can still do this and we're still the best restaurant and we have a lot to prove. Big shoes to fill, like I said, and um, we got Asia's 50 best restaurant of India maybe 5 days before I officially took over. Uh, you know, Something like that was it was intimidating. More than I was very happy when the restaurant won that award. Uh, but 5 days before, my name is on everything, and uh, the guy who was leading us to that is kind of not there anymore, and I have to make all the decisions. So it is intimidating. It is scary a little bit, but like I said, everyone's faith, everyone believing in what we have to do and putting their heads down kind of benefited and worked out at the end.
Excellent. So you're saying that Mask is now your sort of idea of what Indian food, sort of new Indian food would be. And so my question would be, from your perspective, what is in general, someone that's not Indian, obviously, what is
Yeah.
Indian food? How would you differentiate it between, the other, regional cuisines nearby, like Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan, or other
Uh,
things?
I mean, see, honestly, the only way I can differentiate them as Pakistani, Afghanistani, I'll start with that. But the only way I can differentiate it about geographically where it's cooked, because it all has influences from everywhere. You have to remember till about 70 years, 70, 75 odd years, till 1947, basically, we were one country. My family, my grandparents moved from what is now Pakistan to Bombay or Mumbai when the two countries when it became two countries. So technically, even my hometown or where my grandmom was born or my granddad was born is now in Pakistan. And I'm Sindhi, and we are considered Sindhis from Shikarpur. Shikarpur was next to Lahore, I think, if I'm not wrong, in Pakistan. So the difference, I think, is just about where it's cooked. But Nihari is still Nihari when it's cooked in Bombay or in Hyderabad or in Lucknow, as much as it is Nihari cooked in Lahore or Kabul. Uh, the 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 tandoor was brought in to India, I guess, 1700s or 1800s by what is now Afghanistan, by people living in the area of what is now known as Afghanistan. So, like tandoor as of now, garlic naan, chicken tikka, all of that is considered only Indian food around the world. And that is the most famous Indian food around the world. That is all brought by influences that came from the Mughals who kind of lived in that region of Peshawar. I don't know, you call it Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, whatever, but everything came in from there. Uh, Spices came in when uh, Christopher Columbus found India in search of black gold and pepper. Till then, we had like turmeric, cardamom, and pepper. So you can't really. And now, because of, but religion is fine. We have Hindu, Muslim, and Christian. But under these, the subcastes and how it's based on region and what you follow and their cuisines, it is so vast that I don't know if I can call it Indian food. There is so much that I don't think in my lifetime I will run out of dishes to take inspiration from at Mask. Uh, um, so what I'm trying to say is that you can't put it into one cuisine. Like globally, butter chicken, biryani, maybe one few more dishes are known as Indian food, but there is so much. We discover things every day while cooking, while traveling. There are subcultures, there are tribes, there's so much history, and the problem is that none of this history has been documented. It is all word of mouth, and even if it's documented, it's like Chinese whispers where somebody has told somebody, and now in the modern era, the kids have started taking pride in the family, or somebody in the family started saying that maybe there's an opportunity to record all of this and make it a book. So there, I don't know how we are going to define Indian cuisine, but I guess we're trying to do that with Masque in a very modern and luxurious way almost. But there are different ways of doing it also. But that's what we're doing with Masque, and that's the whole purpose of Masque, is to kind of define what Indian cuisine is going to be like now and in the future.
Right. Yeah, I read you mentioned in an interview that Mass goal has always been to celebrate India, all the
Yes.
traditions, cuisines, and ingredients. So,
Yes.
like you said, the areas, the country is huge, including surrounding, before when it was one big country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, as a chef, what is the hardest thing to do to translate that into a plate? And, from your perspective, is there anything, at least right now, or you've been sort of focusing on techniques or region, things like that?
I mean, each menu is kind of different, right? And we do about 3 or 4 menus in the year, depending on the trips I make, not globally to cook, but more nationally to find ingredients, to find inspiration, to try as much as I can, to see how the locals pay respect to their cuisine, or how they cook things, or what kind of techniques are more unique to them. So each menu becomes very different, and if I have to talk about, to explain to you and give you my answer, if I have to talk about this current menu, um, we it's been 10 years for Mask. We're in our 10th year. We will complete 10 years in September. uh, and like I said, before also, that Mask has never been about one person, and when it's about the team and it's about India. So previous menus, we've always looked at India for inspiration and found ingredients, dishes from different parts of the country that kind of put it together. This time, to celebrate the 10 years, and to uh, also, we're planning to do a big renovation and close for about 4 months in starting May. So this menu just launched last week, and it's our thank you to Bombay for being there for us for the last 10 years. It's Bombay is a city close to my heart because I'm born and brought up here, and like I told you, my love for food kind of started here, uh, because I was born and brought up here, and like it being a melting pot. So even though I'm celebrating Bombay, it's still different cuisines and cultures of India kind of coming together, because at the end of the day, Bombay is a migrant city. Different people, like my family, kind of came, settled here, brought their food, and kind of it adapted to what Bombay is. So this menu kind of, we've kept Bombay as a highlight, and taken inspiration from different cultures, restaurants, different things of Bombay, the spirit of Bombay, to kind of make the menu. But and and like I said, each menu we look at it with a different approach. Where, like this menu, even though it's Bombay and the rest are India, but still different cultures need to be represented. Different ingredients that we source from around the country to highlight and to put on the forefront, to make it different for our guests also, uh, are used. And you have to look at it through like a Mask and Mask Lab lens. So it had all the boxes ticked, but inspiration comes from anywhere. And this menu, I think the inspiration has been uh, my childhood, the fact that I've grown up here, my palate has been built here, different places that I love to eat in Bombay, different cultures of Bombay, and that's what we've kind of seen and we've represented in the 10 courses that we serve.
Very cool. So going a little bit on the service side, Mask just won the Art of Hospitality Award from World's 50 Best. Obviously, a huge accomplishment on you guys.
Thank you, sir.
What goes behind the winning of the award? And congratulations, obviously. What goes behind winning the award? And also, do you value these awards and accolades? Do they mean something to you?
Uh, they mean a lot. Let me just start by saying that, and I've been very vocal about the fact that I want to win more, and I want to win as many as I can. It's great for the assurance that what we're doing is right. It's great for the morale of the team, and most importantly, it's great for business, right? Uh, so we definitely want it, and I'm quite a competitive person. So if I'm putting myself out there and I'm competing in something, I want to win, and I don't want to come even second for that matter, right? So I think that is a step, like that is my answer to that question. And what they mean, like I said, if it's good for business, we want them. It's not like I tell my team every day, we as a team we celebrate the award for one day, not for the rest of the year, because with awards comes more, there's more responsibility. You have to live up to expectations every day. I tell my team as much as I can that we're only as good as our last plate, not as our last award. So yes, the day we get the award, we'll be happy and we'll celebrate, and we'll give each other a high five. But come the next service, you have to still make sure that you have to live up to every expectation out there, and it's higher now because you have this award. When if you get a local award or an international award, if people read about it and they come to you, they set a certain expectation. uh, we don't really operate day to day thinking about awards, but like I said, we're only as good as our last plate and the last experience we have provided to a guest, and we make sure that every guest leaves happier than they entered. They build memories, they enjoy the food, drink, service. um, we make sure we have great conversation with them, so they feel it's a more personal experience, rather than a acted out skit where everyone's working like a machine, and they're just doing what they have to do and not going above and beyond. um, Art of hospitality, there's I don't know how you, for 50 best or any award, there's no criteria. It's not like I can be like, yes, I want to win this now, or I want to come number 5 now, or number 25 now. You just do what you do, and I guess people notice and it comes, right? So we didn't particularly aim for the art of hospitality. We wanted it, yes. We've always thought it would be a nice thing to have. Um, yes, but there was nothing really we could intentionally do to get it. So, like I said, we just made sure everyone left happy, had a great time, connected with us, connected with the people on their table, built some memories, enjoyed everything, and hopefully, this is the result. So, and we hope we get more and more, like I said. So,
No, it's great. It proves, like you said, it proves that you guys have done a lot of hard work and certainly deserve of all the awards that you've gotten. So again, congratulations for that for sure.
thank you.
So like you mentioned, you traveled a lot within India and also, abroad, doing collaborations with other restaurants and attending conferences, things like that. So I'm curious, are there any particular countries with very different cultures? That's to say, not Singapore, Malaysia, places with a lot of diaspora, that you think would match well with Indian menu ingredients?
I mean, honestly, I think everywhere I've gone, I've learned something different. I've seen culture, and I think that's why I like traveling for cooking and with events, because you see a city very differently than you would as a tourist, right? You have somebody showing you around, taking you to the best places, uh, eat street food, everything that you, because it's almost like you have a local guide, right? Because that's what we do when people come, and that's what most chefs would do it. Spora, obviously, sorry, this convergence where we met was obviously very different. There were 60 chefs, and you couldn't expect Rasmus to take all 60 chefs out and kind of make it more personal. But usually it's one or two chefs maximum, right? So when they plan the best meals, or and not only fine dine, I'm also talking about street food and local food, or they plan different things in the city to do to understand the culture a little better. It's amazing, right? And you get to see you get to see the best of the city or the country in 5 days that you're there, while cooking and kind of spreading the word about yourself and marketing and learning from that chef and that kitchen. So every place has been quite interesting. I think New Zealand was one of the places where I thought the whole I forgot the tribe name, but that culture and that kind of matches with the tribals of India almost, and the way cooking techniques. And like I'll name one thing, right? Like imagine the cooking technique of khad, which is an old ancient cooking technique of when the the royal families, the nomads, went hunting in India. They used to carry jute bags, whatever they hunted. They didn't want to carry utensils, right? It was very heavy. So they would wrap everything first in the roti or like a flatbread. They'd marinate the meat, then put whatever some vegetables if they wanted. First layer would be the flatbread roti situation. The second layer would be whatever leaf they find. The third layer would be like a khadi, which is a Indian textile, thin. And the last layer would be a jute bag in which they carry everything. And they would tie all this up, dig a pit, and cook it underneath on a low flame. Now, the same technique is called barbacoa in Mexico. The
Yeah, I
same
was gonna
technique,
say, mhm, yeah.
yeah, the same technique is used by the tribal. I'm completely forgetting the name of the New Zealand tribe. I'm sorry, but when I went there, they one morning they did the whole like ritual of the tribal. They showed us how what the ritual is of welcoming people, and we ate a meal that was cooked in the way these guys would cook, and it was the same. Different meats, vegetables were marinated, packed in a different style, and cooked underground. Uh, so this technique is used any ancient uh, civilization that you see since back in the day. This technique is used. We just don't know. Uh, yeah, it's called Maori tribe. I just got it. Um, so this technique is kind of used by all of them. So you see these commonalities, right? And I think, um, and also like Indian food is perceived very differently. So the mix of this, and when we put food out, I think, and when we kind of show people that Indian food is not just takeout and not just curries. Technically, Indian food does not have curries. It's perceived very differently, and that's, I guess, the commonality in different cultures as well. Like Mexico and India, similar ingredients, similar uh, cooking techniques, flavor profiles, but yet very different.
Yeah, I can imagine some of the like chili, use of spices.
Yeah.
Some stuff
When
looks
I
similar,
cooked
but
with
some's different. Yeah.
chefs from Thailand, I understood that masaman curry was only introduced after the trade from India and Thailand started, and they got cinnamon and cardamom, and they took the technique of how Indians cooked meat and stewed them and kind of married it with the way they make Thai curry, and that was born to become masaman curry. So everywhere I've traveled, I've found these unique things and unique information, culture, trade-offs that has been quite fascinating. So I can't name one culture, but I think everywhere you go, you see how fascinating the world is and how each we have kind of rubbed off on each other.
Yeah, a lot of different influences from different places, but a lot of
Yes.
times they end up having a same approach or a similar idea
Yeah,
somehow.
China and India have kind of, maybe not had the best relationships politically, but have rubbed up on each other and cooking techniques a lot. And not authentic Chinese food, but I think in India, Chinese food and Indian Chinese food is the most famous cuisine right now, and people love it. Everyone.
Like the Hakka cuisine, right? I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
a lot of
And
in Canada as
also,
well. Yeah.
obviously, we've Indianized it a lot, and now the Indo-Chinese is a cuisine in itself. But it is different types of Chinese, and Asian cuisine is still the most preferred cuisine for Indians, right? Like it tastes the palate. Obviously, it's very different, but in a way, the palate is more used to that flavor profile also.
Mm. Yeah, chili chicken and stuff is it's pretty common here as well. So
Yes.
um and then tell us a little bit about I guess within India. So you mentioned there's Mask Lab. So tell us a bit
Yes.
about how, what you guys are doing within the lab, research and things like that.
So we have like a flavor lab or fermentation lab at the upstairs, and I'll speak about that first. And um, that is basically just to see what flavors, what we can kind of derive and see what new flavors we can come up with. Sometimes what we create there kind of gets highlighted on the mask menu. Sometimes it doesn't get used at all. Sometimes we use it to amp up flavor in courses, but don't really talk about it. We make our own black garlic, for example. We make ferments like misos using the Japanese techniques. We make pickles and ferments using Indian techniques. We make garums. We make koji. Like one of my courses that I do is a dosa, which we don't ferment the traditional way, but we ferment it with koji as a starter, almost like the style of sourdough bread. Uh, and that all is kind of created in the lab. It's also a space where we do our R&D and see what new menus, work on new menus and events. And the downstairs, we also have a chef's table. The chef's table can become our PDR. You can book it on, if we don't have any events or bookings, guests can book it privately for a minimum of 10 to 14 people maximum. And then we do events also, like we did a collab with Gagan, and with him, a chef's table makes the most sense. So we kind of did it there, doing instead of doing it at the restaurant. Otherwise, we've also let home cooks take over. People we've taken inspiration from, we let them take over and kind of do a meal that is open to public to showcase them. And those are not really modern meals, but sometimes super traditional meals as well. Aditi's mom did a Rajasthani meal. Some Koli women, which is the fishermen community of Bombay, some four women of that community kind of took over and did a Koli style meal. It's a freestyle space. It's a space that we can do whatever we want. At Mask, at the restaurant, the menu is what it is, and you just tell us like your allergies and your preferences, and we can do that. But at Mask Lab, we're open to customizing the menu for you based on what you want. Uh, and yeah, it's a freestyle space that we are lucky to have at our liberty to do different things. Sometimes we've done private events where a brand has done showcase their products and just had 30, 40 people walking in, kind of and almost made it like a art show or a launch of a fashion brand. um, and the chef's table can't be moved. That's one thing, it's instilled. But other than that, we are open to doing many things in the lab, and based on what the requirement is.
Let's see. So you mentioned, a lot of different things that are happening in Indian food, different influences, different things happening. Where do you see the future of Indian food going, from your perspective?
I mean, the future of Indian food, I think, is definitely bright. I think not only Mask is obviously at the forefront of pushing that and doing that, but I think more chefs, more restaurateurs, more people have kind of are there now pushing it as well. Some great restaurants around the world that are pushing the idea of modern Indian food, and not just modern Indian. A lot of them pushing traditional Indian food also. And now you see uh, different brands putting serious money, and investors putting serious money behind Indian restaurants, and Indian restaurants opening at the top locations of the world and being awarded, celebrated, most importantly, full and making money. So there's different people. There's Himanshu in Dubai with 3 stars. There's Chef Chintan and Chef Vijay in New York. There's Chef Vikas in New York doing amazing things. In India, we have Hussain, Prateek, Johnson, not just with fine dine, even some casual restaurants. Just the idea, Chef Reggie in New York has opened his restaurant, and I believe it's very successful, and people are liking the idea of the toddy shop, which is actually just a dive bar in Kerala, and he's taken the food of that, and now he's serving it in one of the top locations in New York. So with everybody kind of coming at the forefront and pushing the idea of Indian food together as a country rather than individually as a restaurant is beautiful to look at. Kind of creating that community is amazing as well.
Yeah, it's always good when you can sort of make
And
a group
yeah,
effort out of everything.
We're proud that Mask was one of the first to do this, and kind of, I wouldn't say the first, but there were lots of different restaurants, and I wouldn't be like it's not an individual effort, but when Mask is considered one of the top in that category, I think it's a moment of pride and gratitude.
Nice. So now we'll go into a few fun, more personal questions.
Sure.
The first one is, what's your favorite dish or cuisine?
I mean, I can't do that. I can't. I've never been able to choose one. It depends on the day. It depends what you're in the mood for. It depends where you are. Like, if I'm in Thailand, I want to eat as much as Thai food as I can. I don't really tend to eat a lot of Indian food, or for that matter, any Western food, unless it's a chef that I really respect and I want to go try. So I think it depends where you are, and what's the best in that place, in that area that you go for. It depends on the day. When I'm in Bombay, what I want to eat. So I'll never be able to choose one. And I think uh, some that I would say, obviously, like Indian food is quite up there. It's nostalgic. It's what I grew up. It's who I am. So it's quite up there. And I sometimes crave for specific Indian dishes from different restaurants as well. Japanese food is amazing. When everyone loves Japanese food. I love Thai food. I like strong flavors, so I like more Asian food and Asian flavors over, let's say, European flavors and subtle food. But that being said, when I'm in Europe, I've eaten uh, everything, and have meals at different restaurants that I've loved also. But given a choice, I will always go for heavier and bolder flavors than subtle. But again, like I said, that being said, Japanese food would be up there with my favorite cuisines also. So it depends.
Yeah, it's a big question, it's a tough question to answer for sure.
Like, I love barbecue and that kind of style of food, robust. I love food that comes off a grill with that smoky charcoal flavor. So honestly, I like eating everything. There's recently, I think there's an interview of me come out also, and I literally said that they said, which was your bad meal? And I said, like, this was 2 years ago, but it released now. And I literally said there's nothing like a bad meal. I was also surprised. But yeah, I believe that, like, food is always good. It's subjective, but
That's the
I
truth, right?
enjoy.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your best memory as a chef? And what's the worst memory you have as a chef?
There are many. Honestly, there's nothing. There's not many. Like there's not one, and I can't again choose one. I've been fortunate enough to have many opportunities as a chef. Like, with firstly having a full restaurant almost every day. Touch wood. I think that is, as a chef, when your restaurant is full, when people are enjoying, paying money, there's no bigger compliment than that. You know. But also different opportunities I've got. To name a few, like Convergence, cooking at that stage with uh, those kind of chefs is a great opportunity. I was the and only Indian restaurant and only restaurant from India at Convergence. So that was a moment of pride for sure. Seeing the Indian flag up there, seeing my restaurant up there, seeing my food pictures in the dome, and all of that. It was amazing. Um, I've been fortunate enough to cook with different chefs and do collabs with different chefs, like from Ton, Gagan, Dej, Daniel Hum, uh, James Kent. Um, uh, you know, uh, uh, you can take it as a bad memory and a good memory, but I cooked at James Kent's restaurant 4 days after he passed away, and I was in New York when he passed away, and I didn't expect the dinner to go through. We were supposed to eat dinner, and I got a call that he passed away. I was with him a few days before. We were going to cook in the next 4 days, and his Kelly and the team kind of took a call and said he would want to go ahead with the dinner, and we don't cancel it. And even though it's just 4 days after he passes away, and that was the first time I was cooking for somebody else's legacy, and it felt that felt like an honor, and it felt sad and bad to cook in his restaurant without him 4 days after something like that has happened as well. So that's a bitter sweet memory, I guess. And it's to cook for somebody's legacy 4 days after something has happened is not easy, and it's a lot of pressure. I got to cook at Cannes Film Festival representing India for the Indian government, which has been amazing. All the awards, accolades I've got, the team has got. 2025 has been great with awards and everything as well. So those are all the best memories, and I hope these we're not at our peak and they just become better and bigger. Um, one memory that I can not memory but something of gratitude to tell you also, eating at Matt's restaurant was also something very special for me, and you were there that night. Matt has cooked 3 times in India before at Masque with us. I was Commis, CDP, and head chef respectively in the 3 times he's cooked, and each time somehow it worked. The third time, obviously, I was head chef, and the collab was between the two of us. But even the first 2 times, I got to work very closely with Matt. Uh, I learned a lot from him. I've considered him a mentor and a big brother since a long time, since the first day I met him and I worked with him. But I've never eaten at his restaurant, and I never got to eat at a mass. I've tasted his food different parts of the world. I've eaten his food in Singapore when he created Air, but not in Copenhagen. And eating at SA that night, having him there, seeing everything was amazing. And SA, not exactly, but in a lot of ways, it's very much like Mask, where it's in the middle of nowhere. It's super high ceilings with the roof like that. There were lots of similarities, and that night was that was one of the best memories as a chef also, like to to eat at someone's restaurant you regard so high and who you've considered to be a friend, mentor, and somebody you look up to.
Beautiful. I got two more questions for you, Chef Totlani. Thanks for being us for the end today.
Mm.
Um, First is any kitchen secrets you can share with us. Could be how you cook something, could be behind the scenes, could be whatever you come up with.
uh, I mean, there's no secret, I guess. Like, you have to be a good chef in to be a good chef in the kitchen. You have to have a chef's instinct. You have to trust yourself. Experience is always going to make you better. You need to learn from your experiences, create your own instinct. As a leader, as a chef of the restaurant, you need to understand that it's more than cooking. You need to balance everything, and life is like a recipe, and you need the exact amount of everything for it to work out in the end. That's pretty much it. That's what I have to say about this.
Cool.
No secret really, but like I don't really keep our recipes secret. Like if we go for events and chefs or interns are helping us who are not really part of Mask, we don't shy away from sharing recipes or anything. Uh, we've shared, like, some chef came to eat and really loved the bread. We serve and asked for the recipe. We typed it out, and we were happy to share it because there are no secrets. I like to believe that it's it's quite corny, but in India we say "Haath mein jadoo hai." That means you have magic in your hands, and it's about the person who's cooking it rather than about the recipe. And that's what I'm talking about when I say chef's instinct. That it does matter about who's cooking it. It sounds very corny, but they say when you cook with love, it's seen in the food. I like to believe that. Uh, and sometimes the recipe might be right, but the ingredient might be different. So for the chef's instinct is what will make you adjust and change and make sure that even though the two products were not the same on two different days, the final product still tastes the same.
I love the generosity of what you're talking about. Also, obviously, there's technique and skills that is involved as a great chef, right? So that's definitely part of what makes it such a such a great job and also a challenging job, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the last question, any plans in the near future you can share with us?
I mean, the biggest plan right now, I told you, is that we're gonna uh, close Mask in May for the next 4 months, and it's been 10 years. We want a little change. We've learned from the we've learned about a lot about the space, about ourselves in the last 10 years. So we want to refresh. We want to work on those things. We want to build, and we Mask will remain the same. The people will remain the same, but we want to kind of build a new space. Uh, we want to dial back in those 3 4 months and kind of evolve and see how we see what look back at the 10 years and look back at the next 10 years and see what we see modern Indian food Mask as, and kind of reassess and come back even stronger when we open in September with a new look, but the same ethos, the same people. And that's the only thing we're focusing on, and that's what the future is for now.
The menu would be kind of the same idea, but the space would be refreshed a
I
bit.
mean, see, we change our menu every 3 to 4 months. So and very few times do we repeat dishes. Also to keep it interesting, to keep pushing, to make it interesting for the people coming back. So the menu will obviously, we will come up with a new menu and we won't be serving the current menu. But the ethos will remain the same. We do want to evolve our style and kind of find a new style of how we evolve also, right? Like if I'm demanding a new space from Aditya, and from I'm shutting the restaurant for 4 months. I think as a team and as the person who's deciding to do that, I have the responsibility to evolve the food and service, drinks, everything we do. If I'm expecting the place to evolve, and because it's not like it's a small investment, it's not like I'm just closing for 2 weeks, painting it, and coming back. I'm expecting them to break the kitchen, break the restaurant from the tile down, and build a new restaurant. From revenue loss for the 4 months to staff salaries to investment to build this, it's going to be more expensive than when we built the first Mask. And the financially, that's going to put us on the back foot, where we have to first now again think about recovering the investment and then think about everything else as a business side of it. So if I'm expecting these things to evolve, I need to evolve everything we do as the team that runs it also, and that puts the vision out there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of responsibility when you have to, shut down the restaurant for such a long time and having
Yeah.
to manage everything and make sure everything is proper when you come back and be better than before,
Like
right?
literally, I keep joking with Aditya that I'm going to bring a sledgehammer and I'm going to break this wall after the last service. I'm going to break this wall. And if I if he's saying he obviously cribs a little bit, but he says yes in the end. But if he's doing all of that and we're doing putting in that much effort to build something new, then it has to have we all of us have responsibilities here to do things and give them an ROI on everything.
That's the business side of it, restaurant, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks again, Chef Totlani, for being with us today, and hopefully I'll be visiting Mumbai sometime soon, and
We would love
check
to
out your
have you.
place.
Let's stay in touch and, you know, maybe some part of the world, Mumbai, wherever we see each other next.
Well, like you said, we'll keep in touch, and best of luck, and we'll chat soon.
Amazing. Thank you.